Okay, so I'm just going to go through the stats note and see what's important that you need to know. Also, what are questions that could come out. So, going on to chapter one, you must know what's like a population, a sample. Okay, you know what's a data set, know what's a census. Also, know what's discrete variables and continuous variables. These are extremely important. You will get a multiple choice of them. Then your measurement skills are also important. Like your first question of statistics in your exam will always be like where you have to know like the scale and like whether it's qualitative or quantitative. Like they'll give you a statement and to match it. Know your qualitative, quantitative variables. That's extremely important. And then just know this table, right? But don't like memorize it, just understand it. So when you get a statement, you can easily categorize them in either nominal, ordinal, interval, and ratio. But at the same time, you can combine this question with like qualitative and quantitative. Okay. Then you must know observational and design. The two different type of experiments. You must like identify what is observational and what is designed. Then sampling methods are also important. You must know all the methods that are probability sampling, right? And just know like one that is not probability sampling. Because what they'll do in a multiple choice is that they'll tell you like what's not a probability sampling, and they'll give you all, and probably one of them won't. Most likely that one is always the quota sampling. That's not a probability sampling, right? Then simple random sampling, same thing. Just know that. In Excel, all these formulas, you look at the PowerPoints on stats notes because over here there's not much about Excel. But if you want to pick a random number, let's say generate a random number in Excel, you put rand between, and let's say if you want a number between 1 and 100, so you say rand between open brackets 1 colon 100, right? So they basically generate like 98, 52, any random number. Systematic sampling, you must know this formula. Remember, in the exam, we are going to get a formula sheet, right? So we are going to get formulas. But systematic sampling, n over n, just know n is the sample and n is how many people you want. Then these questions are important, right? If we just know what is all these questions first, second, and third, you find for systematic sampling. Then stratified random sampling, know what it is, know how it's done. This one is important. Know how you do this to work backwards. Okay, quota sampling, convenience sampling, know what it is. That's important. Quota sampling, the steps, just read on it. Don't memorize. You don't. It's not going to be like in a question like this. Okay. Chapter 2, we go on graphs. The graphs are slightly important, but they're more going to test you graphs like distribution, where to work at the mean and stuff, the skewness. Not necessarily these graphs, but just know like these graphs because they might ask you which is the better graph to actually do. So just know like what's a line graph, how it's used, know your components, bar chart, and this is compound bar chart. Also in Excel, know how to go to like a chart or choose a chart, right? So know different charts and how you select the charts that you must know. So different bar charts, you don't need to know what they are or what they do, how to calculate it. It's really not going to come out, right? Pareto chart, just know what it is. I don't know why it's invisible over here, but just search it up. Then you got the dot plot. It didn't come out in the recent past papers, but just know what it is, right? Pie chart is important. You will get the numbers, and it'll make you work out like the degrees, like out of 360, take the space of the pie chart, okay? Then as we go on, the stem and leaf is also very, very important. You need to know how to calculate like the median, the average of the stem and leaf. That's easy. That's just pull out the numbers, okay, out from there, and go on your calculator on your stat mode and work it over there, right? Then the two sets compared, this may or might not come out, okay, but it's just exact same. Sigma and script notation, it's not that bad. It might look bad, but when you go into it, it's not that bad. Didn't come out in recent past papers, but again, it can come out, so just know your script notation. Now, the frequency distribution is extremely important, right? It comes out in every single past paper. Okay, so cumulative frequency distribution, working out all this stuff over your class worth, your number of classes, okay, make sure you know exactly all the steps. Because what they'll do is that they'll give you like a missing figure, for example, K, but they'll give you the range, and then you have to work backwards Or they might give you another variable and you have to work forwards, or just know how it is, right? No. Now remember, all these formulas here will be in your formula sheet. So just go to past paper and see what you already got in your formula sheet so you can work it out, right? Sturge's rule, this whole thing, it's very, very important. Now, know how you calculate all this to get these limits, right? Because in the exam, you'll get this, and you might need to know how you got that in order to do the question. Now, your continuous frequency distribution is exactly the same, just that instead of, well, basically just adding class boundaries by class limits, right? Then as you go, okay, classes, the midpoints, yeah, you need to know how to calculate average. Okay, average from like among this this distribution. Okay, and to do that, it's a calculator work. Okay, you can just research on YouTube or whatever the average, how to calculate average of a distribution. You'll get it, right? This is all calculator work. Then if you go down, your frequency polygon again doesn't usually come out, but just know it. Know how to work out. Let's see. Okay, so your ogive curve is very important. They might ask you to work at quartile 1, quartile 2, quartile 3, or maybe like how many people had less than 80%. So like those like types of examples. Okay, shape of distribution, extremely important. Now, symmetric bell shape is like your normal type of distribution. Then you get your uniform, biomodal, positive skew shape, negative skew shape. But the most common is a normal distribution, which is this one here, bell shape, right? Then you must know your measures of tendency. Like simple, your mean, how to calculate mean, median, mode, and like normal numbers. All this is calculator work. Then your weighted mean, know how to calculate that. Now your group data, this is where I was talking about, where you have to work out mean of group data, right? This is what I was talking about. So just look at a video of that. Measures of variability. Know the 3 measures of variability, because sometimes multiple choice will give you some that's not a measure of variability, and it'll say like what statement is false. So yeah. Then know what is variance, like it's more dispersed. Raw data, standard deviation, variance. Know how to go from variance to standard deviation, right? And then your group data. Know how to calculate standard deviation of that. Okay, you use a calculator. Now coefficient variation is very important. Know the formula. So it's your standard deviation over your average times 100. Now your bell shape data, this is extremely important to know exactly how to do this. Okay, you must have to memorize like 68% lies within one standard deviation, all this, and you must know how to apply it. Go through past papers, there's different questions on this. They'll tell you like it's bell-shaped data or normal distribution, and they'll tell you like the percentage of people that are there, and basically like this value example over here. But you need more examples to work at this bell-shaped data. You need these practice questions, because like this just memorizing won't help you, right? So go to past papers and see if you get a question with regards to bell-shaped data, and they ask you like certain type of questions on it. Measures of position. Now, percentile and quartile is almost the same thing. Just that quartile is like quartile 1, quartile 2, quartile 3. But let's say we want to look for quartile 60. We can't say quartile 60. We say percentile 60, right? So it's the exact same thing. Quartile 1 and percentile 25 is exactly the same, right? Calculation of quartiles, yes, you must know that. Now, all this you put in your calculator. Your calculator can find your quartiles, median, average, standard deviation, variance. Your calculations of median, quartile. Okay, so this is extremely important, right? This calculation over here. They even did an example over here. You have to know this no matter what. Now, this formula is going to be in your formula sheet. So just know like what it stands for, like what is L1 and all, right? So this is for calculating the median, right? So you must know it of group data. Now, as you go down, 5 numbers summary, this is like grade 12 work. You must know your median, the quartile 1, quartile 2, quartile 3, minimum and maximum, right? 5 of those. Know how to work out your interquartile range and know quartile deviation, right? So that is equal interquartile range divided by 2. Box and whisker, the only question they can ask is this: is it positive skewed, negatively skewed, and so on. As we go down, okay, know how to like read this table. It's same thing. You look at the skewness of it. Now, probability, it may look tough, it may look hard. It is tough and it is hard, but it's simple once you get it, right? And if you look at YouTube videos, there are lots of YouTube videos that that you can do this and make you understand. So like some sample point, know these definitions, know how to do these calculations, all these definitions, know what type of events these are, unions, you must know. Examples of probability. See, this is important, like true coin, like this can be a question in the test. Frequency, probability, relative frequency, know the formula. Again, this is in the formula sheet. Major, giant probability. Now see this, you must know it, right? Counting formula. Now this is when, like in grade 12, we did counting principle exactly the same. Just that over here in stats, we can do shortcuts, right? Because we can use our calculators to do this stuff. So just factorial, like normal grade 12 work. Factorial notation. Now permutation and combinations are extremely important. If you look in your calculator, it'll be NPR and NCR. Those are how you work out these things, right? Permutation and combination. Combination, NCR, permutation, NPR. All this is calculator work. Again, permutation, combination, watch YouTube videos on this. You can't learn it from this page. Know how to calculate the number of ways or outcomes. That's the same thing as the permutation combination. You're working on outcomes. Know how to work out probabilities, okay? Basic probability formula. Know like probability of not A, what it is, know these basic probabilities. Know a Venn diagram, and when they say like A union B, what it is, A not, okay, just know what it is. Now these are extremely important. In fact, know everything over here, right? From A to E. That is extremely important to know. Then that's done, right? So for the test, 3.5 is the only thing you should go up to. And remember, all this is included, but also you must learn Excel, right? Excel, I think it's in the slides. It's included like with the content in the slides. It's not that much Excel and stats right now. You just have to know your formulas and obviously look at the stats, Excel and how they put it, and just identify errors and stuff, okay? So that's the Stats 130 class test. Well, it's not a prediction, it's just what's important and what's not important. Now, for Stats 130, you can't really predict the paper because, you just have to know everything. But it's not that much if you do section by section. It won't be that much, okay? So that's the prediction for Stats 130.